Hey guys, it's Ivory's with the No Sabo podcast. Welcome. We are missing Elias today, but we do have a special guest with us today. It's his first time
on the podcast.
What's your name? What do you do?
Guillermo. Noel.
I'm sure you guys know him. He's very famous on Facebook. See his videos, right?
Instagram.
Not as famous
Instagram?
as Ivory's.
Not me.
Yeah,
Not
the
me.
podcast.
Is this your first time on a podcast?
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous, guys.
Well,
I don't know what to say.
Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on our videos. We are on X. X is the new one, so go and check us out. The full videos aren't on there visually. And then all the reels, YouTube, we post every Friday at 8 a.m. And then we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a few more on Buzzsprout, so you guys can check us out.
Radio.
Yeah, we made it on iHeartRadio. Apple Podcasts is the harder one to get on there, but yeah.
But we
From
were
now
on.
on, I'm a subscriber.
He wasn't even following us, but yeah, go give us a like and follow. I think we hit like 11,000 views on YouTube the last 28 days, so it's been pretty good. Yeah.
Are those like clip wise? Or are those like
a mixture
full
of
video?
everything. Yeah. Clips been doing really good. Oh, on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. I think we are at over 700 followers.
Didn't Elias say once we get to 1,000, he'd wanted to do like
Oops.
un giveaway? Or
Yeah,
algo
he said
así?
a giveaway, but he didn't
I'm
say what
adding
we're
you
gonna
guys
do.
right now.
Wow, that's messed up. We're almost
Just
at
kidding. I actually, look. I already follow you guys.
on what? Do you follow us on the TikTok?
iHeartRadio.
Ay, such a liar,
We're
dude.
at 706 followers.
Number one podcast on Spotify.
on TikTok. So go check it out. The links are in the description, so go and go and follow us there. And we got a new intro and outro. I just showed you. So
Yeah,
let us know what
pretty
you guys
nice.
think about that.
I like it.
That's all. What do they call it? That's all on the docket. Yep.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us, Noel. I know it was last minute.
Well, it's not technically last minute because
true.
he was supposed to come what was it?
Like
a few weeks
3
ago.
weeks
huh?
ago.
Yeah, and then I got canceled on.
Yeah.
So I would say this is last
Es que
minute.
it was, health concerns, health issues.
I was dying that day, and so we had to postpone the.
No matter. No matter.
No matter.
And no matter.
You're on episode 22, 23. So
Oh, 23.
you're like Jordan.
Yeah,
Balling.
there you go. Good luck.
Yeah, we're killing it, they say. But Noel, you're part of the brokerage, same as Ivaris and Elias,
Yes,
and I guess
sir.
myself is. But what got you started in your real estate journey, or like tell us a little bit more about Noel?
Who is he? What does he do?
Who is he? I guess real estate was always, like I've told you guys, it was always on my mind. I always wanted to do it ever since, I want to say elementary, but more in high school. Even in college, I tried to do some classes. I took the test and everything, but it's always been in the back of my mind. And then when I decided to do it, it was for me. And right now, it's the best thing that I've done so far. I love it.
So would you recommend someone that's like probably was in your shoes, thinking about it, like, I don't know if I should get into it, or what do you think? And this is for you too, Ivaris. What do you think? What kind of type of personality do you have to have in order to be able to be successful in this industry?
You definitely have to have an outgoing personality, even though I consider myself a little bit more of a introvert. I do have that outgoing personality, and you can't be afraid to talk to people. So if you are the type of person that you like talking to people, and whenever you see somebody, you're like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? I mean, you don't have to talk about real estate. You just have to be present. You just have to have those relationships with people. But if you're like, nah, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to be in my house, encerrada.
I think I'm an introvert then. I have to be in my
You
house.
are not
Yeah. I qualify myself
But
as
that's
an
what I'm
introvert.
saying.
Just
Like,
kidding.
I mean, I do feel like I lean more introverted, right? But I am trying to get out of my shell a little bit more. And honestly, that's been with the help of both of you guys, because I'm like, I need to be more out there. I need to like let people know this is what I do. And I do feel like when you know me, you do know me as a little bit more extroverted.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I have a little bit of both, but for this industry, you have to have that extrovertedness
Right.
to be able to do it.
Yeah. I guess whoever's looking to get in, I mean, that is a big one. I think passion, grit, hustle, because it's not easy. Everybody
No.
thinks it's easy, seems easy, but there's a lot that goes on in the background. And you got to treat it like a job, not just as something. Oh, there it is. We'll take care of
The
it.
myth is like I quit my job to become a entrepreneur so I could have more time on my hands.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
9 to 5,
no.
now I work 24/7.
For real.
But I think that's what it takes is just going. I mean, you'll feel it. You get your stressful days. You get the days that you don't want to do it. And then you get those good days that you're like, heck yeah. But it's like anything. You just got to keep going, keep hustling.
I looked
Do
up the NAR stats, and it
Mm-hmm.
says that 75% of real estate agents will fail within their first year. So that means
Yeah.
that they'll get their license and leave the industry within that time.
Yeah.
I feel like I have known some agents that have done that, or I shouldn't say agents, some people, because, no duraron.
Right.
One thing I wanted to add to it's like you have to have thick skin too, because there have been times where like, dude, like it hits you hard, like one thing or another goes wrong, and then you start taking it personal, and you're like, what am I doing, kind of thing.
Right.
But also too, like, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of no's, but that's with any profession. In being an entrepreneur, like you said, you have to hustle.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a big one. Keep going, pushing. Yeah, you get your sucky days, but you get your good days. And stay positive. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, positive.
Yeah.
You wake up, let's go find a deal. Let's go close a deal. Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
You're going to make it happen.
How long have both of you been in the industry?
I got licensed in 2019. So how many years is that? Well, this will be my 6th year.
6 year.
Yeah.
And you?
Me? I have a race? What am I? I don't know.
I think he's. I
Just
think
count- I don't
he. I think he got his license maybe 2020.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
5
2020.
years.
So pretty close to.
Yeah.
And you guys are both now brokers, right? Like
Not
you're-
yet.
No, yeah, we're working on it.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
That's like, so explain that to me. Is that like the next level of like as an agent? Is that your next level of education that you can get?
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, well, there's a ton of like classes that people can get, and a ton of they call them designations, so it's kind of like, oh, I've taken this class or whatever, and you get like certified in certain things. But I would say that being a broker is definitely like the next level up, and not a lot of agents like do that.
right.
It does come with some responsibility, because once you are a broker, at least for me, the way that I see it is like I will be held to a higher standard than your real estate agent, and that also gives us the opportunity that if later down the road or in the future we wanted to do something on our own, like we can. That's not to say that that's what we're doing,
Right.
but like it's just leveling up your career,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Going for like your masters or
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say this is almost like your master's, if
Yeah.
anything, trying to level up. I mean, when I got in the industry, I wanted to do it just to have the name, but it is good information. You learn a lot. It's keeping
you
up
add
with
value
classes.
to your clients, you could say.
Yeah, you add value. So I mean, hopefully next week I'll schedule my test. I said I was going to schedule it this week, and I didn't. So
Yeah.
hopefully next week I get it scheduled in and take the test, and we'll see what happens. But I think
Yeah.
it is, providing more to your client at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I know I've known you for a while, and I know I want to take it back a little bit. I remember you used to work at Wal-Mart, right? And would you say you had a pretty decent job there? Like it was.
Yeah, it was good. It was salary. I mean, it wasn't bad, but
And what were you doing there? Because you weren't stocking shelf.
no, I was management.
So what made you jump from a job that you could say was pretty stable to something that was completely not stable? Because this applies for you too, Ibares, I guess. Like, and I would like to hear both of your guys'.
Like it goes back to I've always wanted to do it. I wanted to jump in, right? And I started here at the Utah, Idaho Falls Walmart.
The west side.
Yeah, the west side of Walmart.
Yeah.
I just went to Rexburg, Burley, Twin Falls. And, it was good, but I just wanted more. And I wanted more in real estate. I always had my mind to do something with real estate. And I felt dumb in a way. Like the job for me was easy. Like I could go into my office and at the end of the day, I knew the job was going to get done.
Right.
So I felt like I wasn't pushing myself more than I had to. It was scary when I was, to quit because I would, see the boss man. I was like, okay, I got to go talk to him, tell him, I'm done. And I'd be like, okay, no, I'll tell him tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Because in a way, I was comfortable.
Did you have your license already or no?
I had passed all my tests. I had everything ready. But I was, I was comfortable. I was just getting a salary check, and why would I screw that up and go chase after whatever? And my wife would be like, "Did you let them know already?" Oh, he was busy. He was doing something, so I couldn't get to him.
Making excuses.
Excuses for it. But eventually, I was like, you know what? I thought about it. I don't want to be 60 and regret not doing it. If I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail right now. I can still go out there and push whatever I need to do. Go do potatoes, go do anything, right?
Yeah.
To come back where I was at. But blessed overall after I took the decision and jumped into it.
Yeah.
I went hard. I wanted, I was like, I need to tell people that I'm in
How
real
was your
estate.
first year? Did
It
you
wasn't
sell?
bad, yeah. It was kind of crazy and blessed overall. And I started in Twin Falls. As soon as I got my license and everything, within that first month, I closed a deal, cash offer.
Oh, dang.
So
this is during COVID, right? When everything's going crazy?
COVID is
Right at the almost where it was gonna start.
Yeah.
She got in right before the crazy.
Well, I remember this because March 2020, that's when everybody shut down. Boom. And then everything was kind of dead. What's going on? And it picked up closer to 21, right? 21, 22 was just crazy. But so I got licensed 20, got that. But I kept going out there and, making my calls, talking to people, letting them know that I was a real estate agent.
Interesting. Interesting. What about you, Ivaris?
Me, well, before I decided to pursue real estate, it had always been in the back of my mind because of like my family and stuff. And as a 19-year-old, I took the classes and I even took I took both classes and I passed. But you're 19, uno bien pendejo and shit, you're like, you give priority to like dumb stuff instead of like thinking of your future,
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, man. Don't do it. Anyways, so, I took the classes y las pasé, and then, no quise hacer nada. Like, I was just like, nah, and I started working at Mauluka here in town, and I gave them 11 years of my life.
Dang.
And it's like, although I do have some really good relationships from that, like I met some of my really good friends there, and, but you're just another person there, and so in 2019, at the beginning of end of 2018 and beginning of 2019 was like, no, like I gotta do this. I had just had a baby in 2018, and I was like, this is the time. Like if I don't do it now, no lo voy a hacer. If I keep pushing it out, it's not gonna happen. So I just was like, no, I'm gonna do it. So I was still at Mauluka, and I took the classes at night, so in the evenings. So it was twice as long as if someone takes it during the day. Because if it's during the day, you finish in 2 weeks, the classes. But for me, it was like over 4 weeks. But also like, they're not just back to back. It was like 1 month, 2 weeks, and then another month, 2 weeks. Because you also have to wait for these instructors to put out these classes too.
Oh, gotcha.
So anyway, so like, and it was rough. Like, I mean, I had a baby at home. I was a tired mom. So I'm not going to lie. A couple times in class, I'd be like dozing off. But I was like, I got to do this. So I passed my classes. Y no te voy a mentir, I didn't pass the first time when I took the test because they're hard. You know, and it's 2 tests, the national and the state. I had passed the national y no pasé el state, so tenía que ir otra vez, and I had to pass it.
Do you have to take the classes again?
No,
or
just the test.
Okay.
Yeah, just the test. But then after that, like, once I got licensed, and I didn't really know anybody either, too, like in real estate. So the person that had helped us purchase a home previously, I was like, hey, I'm thinking of getting my license, and they were like, hey, once you get it, like, give me a call or whatever, and you'll come over here.
And we'll take 50%.
Well, I was just like, you know, like scared of like going from a steady job, you know, a steady paycheck. So I was like, I don't know that I can like just go cold turkey like that. And so I told them that it was a team, and they were like, well, actually, you know what? We are going to be hiring a licensed agent assistant. And so you'll be paid hourly, but you'll also be able to earn commission as well on top of that. And I was like, cool, that seems like the best of both worlds for me, because I still was very green. I didn't know what I was doing, you know? So it was kind of a good thing for me because I got to learn all the back end things and how everything works, you know, and at the same time, because I was already licensed, like I was able to help the agent that I was assisting on doing like showings and things like that. And then I did also do a couple of deals on my own. So that first year, while I didn't do a ton of deals by myself, me fue bien because I had the hourly, and then I also had that. And ever since then, like ever since I left that job, like thankfully it's all been going good, you know. And there have been years where it's not as good, you know. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not as good. For me, I'm always like, as long as I make more than what I was making at my full-time job, where they required, you know, 40 hours a week from me to be sitting at a desk, then that's a win for me, you know. There was a year where I made all right. I mean, it wasn't a ton, but I was like, you know what? Like, I spent more time with my kids at home. And I think it was during the COVID time where, like, my kid had to be at home for homeschool. And so I was like, I still made more money, even though I didn't close as many as I would have wanted to, but I made more money being here with him than I did, you know. And that's just with anything in entrepreneurship, you know, like you're going to get as much as you put out, right? Yep. But at the end of the day, too, you have to kind of see like what your priorities are and what's really important. And family is important for all of us. And I think I can speak for all 3 of us here, is that like ever since we did decide to make the move to be our own bosses, like that has opened up our schedules for our kids, for our families. That's not to say that there are days where like we're working hard and like late at night, or you know, you're busy all day or whatever. So it's like, just like with anything, there's sacrifices, you know.
And I think like that, like life will, I mean, 11 years, I think I did 5, but life eventually takes you where it needs to be, or if that wasn't the time. Because even for me, I mean, I wanted to right out of high school, and they're like, no, you know what, finish your college, do that. And so I was like, all right, then I'll finish my college. And I, you know, graduated. And then I was like, okay, as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna do that. And then life gives you a little turn, and there's like, no, not yet, you know.
Walmart gave you a call, Mr. Sam.
I guess it wasn't, the biggest thing wasn't Walmart. It was more family, you know, for my dad. Like I wanted to help him out.
Right.
And so that's why I was like, oh no, they're offering the job. It's mine. it's yours and well if you want it.
Did you land it right after college?
Yeah,
Really?
they're like, you got the job if you want it, and it was like, okay, this is a salary, the most money that I've ever got paid. So I was like,
For those who don't know, Noel's a professional tile layer. I don't know if professional, but
professional. I taught Nelton.
all right. I'm gonna clip that. And
He's not here to say.
You can't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, even throughout college, I did different jobs so that way when college started, I could pay it all off. That was my goal, not
Right.
have debt. So I would work Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the weekend, go to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then summer came, I would work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day. But it was tough. I did tile. I did, I think the hardest one was building those grain bins, and that was tough. That was hard work, back-breaking work. But when college came around, so I stopped that other job, kept my Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but paid everything I needed to pay for school. So that way, at the end of the day, I came out with no debt. So it worked out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But throughout that, I mean, same thing with the people she met, same thing with the people that I met in these different industries, and, from doing tile, doing grain bins, doing whatever else, retail stores, gas stations, you meet all these people at the end of the day, and I still meet these people, and they're like, hey, yesterday, when we were on the phone, I met with two folks that, I used to work with. How's it been? What you been up to? Real estate. So it's good, and at the end of the day, I think in my mind, it's just moving forward, doing more, and stepping away from that comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right.
I still think that I still got a lot to do. I still think that I'm falling behind on a lot of things because I see other folks. I got goals that I want to reach. Takes time, but always pushing forward.
Right. We've had so many calls. We're like, this is our, keep going. Like, we got to keep going.
Yeah.
So I want to tie in, to what I do because, it's kind of, I want to know, what was, for example, you, because I remember you moved from Twin Falls, and you're I've known you for a while, but not, knew you. And you're like, oh, this is my vision. I want to do this. And Edgar had already started doing it, but I had no idea what he was doing. And you called me, what was the reason why? I think I know, but what was the reason why you decided to? Because marketing now for real estate, it's a new thing. I know, we were making fun of Ellis the other day. We did a video with Throwback. He was doing the house tours.
That's cool.
Years ago. I'm he was way ahead of his time, but I feel like nobody caught up. It was just never happened. What was your thinking on that?
I think so. When I called you, when I moved back, I was like, oh, shoot, man, I got to break into this market. There's a lot of agents. How am I going to stand out?
Right.
What am I going to do different? In my mind, right? That's when I called you, and I was like, we sat down at my kitchen table, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I need to tell people that I'm here, I'm back, and I'm doing real estate. And then that was it, because in my mind, and my job is to stay top of mind, right? It's my job to tell these folks that are looking to buy or sell that I'm a real estate. It's not their job to remember.
Yeah.
It's me staying on top of their mind to use Noel. Noel. That's the thing with everybody's. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But this is where I go back, because once you're in the industry, right? You're complacent. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Let's step back and
Let
chill.
the calls roll in.
Yeah, let the calls roll in. No,
That's not how.
No,
No.
you got it. I think I wake up every day. Let's go get it.
Right.
Let's go do something. Let's make it happen. And then I got to think about when I started, right? Because it's the same thing. It's I've done good, all right, for myself, but that can't stop me. I got to do more. I got to push for more.
People
and
forget so fast.
Yeah, they forget. They can get complacent. Be like, you know what? I did good. This year I'm gonna take it easy. For me, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I remember that when I started, how hard it was, and, you know, all the work it took to get here. But I want that same Noel that started to keep going on his 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th year and moving forward.
So, yeah, that's the beauty about entrepreneurship. Like, if you have a plan to retire early, well, then grind your ass for the next 10, 20 years and then worry about the end. Because if not, then...
And then taking care of the people, right? Because at the end of the day, and everybody knows this, at the end of the day, you know, money comes, money goes. But if we're going to work in this business, and I guess I'll go back in 2008 when my parents bought their first house. Shout out to Alvaro Mendoza. He helped us out. He helped my parents, and he did, you know, my
He
mom.
was selling houses back then?
No, my mom. Who?
Alvaro?
Yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And so my mom, she's still to this day, you know, is happy and grateful from what he did to help her out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I want to be that person, you know.
I can't remember what year my parents bought, but they had a similar story. They actually went through 2 agents. They went with agents that spoke Spanish, and they had the worst experience. And then I'm gonna shout him out because I loved him, but Mike Hicks back then, he answered. And
He doesn't
I know
speak Spanish, though.
he doesn't speak Spanish, Mike.
No.
No, he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. But he knew how to answer my parents. My parents spoke a little bit English, but he knew how to answer the questions my dad wanted to know. And so, like, I know it's experience in sales.
Yes.
Like, it's not like you feel like the guy cares for you so much. I understand it's the industry of sales, but he made my parents feel comfortable not even speaking his language, which is crazy. That's a good salesman.
What it is. I mean, you got to care for them, for the client. You're representing them. You're watching for their interest.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to get the deal at the end of the day,
Yeah.
think about it that way. This deal's for me. You know, I want to get the best possible, you know, closing costs, save the most money, right? Or if you're on the seller side, we're trying to make the most money.
Yeah.
You know?
And now I fast forward now and think, I'm like, he was a big dog back then. And my parents were buying $100,000 home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was nothing but the feeling that someone makes you feel at the time. And that's important because you helped my parents with his other house. And same thing. Like, you know, she's like, my dad's like, oh, I call him, he answers my questions. And, you know, so like, I think that like the customer service is like, in any industry, if you're in sales or you have your business, people remember if you fuck up, people don't, and you do right to fix it, most people don't remember the fuck up. They remember the fact that you helped them fix the situation. So
100%. It goes back to them at the end of the day.
Yeah. So
Who cares if your check is stuck? Who cares if, you know, if it's 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think about it this way. You know, it takes three of us to get it across the line. The lender, title company, and me as a real estate
And the
agent.
client.
Yeah, and the
So
client,
4.
of course, too. Let's say 4, The client can't go out there and buy that, you know, 2 new pickups or whatever. But at the end of the day, if we're all doing a job, our job is to get them to the finish line.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's what I tell people too. I'm like, my job is to give you the best service that I can, because the way that I'm gonna grow my business is for me to give you the best service, and that is what's gonna speak volumes of me, and you're gonna have such a great service that I hope that you will refer my name out to someone else that you hear is wanting to, you know, buy or sell. But if I focus just on the money, people are gonna see it.
Yeah.
You
There's
know.
people out there
read
that
you.
do
They
it,
know.
though.
Oh yeah, and there are people that like you can tell, and they have a reputation, and like we all know of like people in all kinds of industries where like they had bad experiences, you know, and like that's what people talk about, you know, and that for me was like, no, that's not what I'm gonna focus on, you know. But
is the Snake River MLS just like this area of agents? So I guess there's 450 agents, and I don't know how accurate that is.
yeah.
But like that's 450 people. If you put them in a room, that's a shitload of people. Now you got to compete with every single
But
one of them.
like I think Snake River goes all the way up to like I think like Teton and Driggs and like Rexburg. So it's like a big area,
Right.
you know. But is there a lot of agents here in town? Yeah. And now that I'm an agent, now I know a ton of different agents, and we all have like people in common and things
Yeah.
like that. But you just have to, I think going back to the first question of like, if someone is thinking about it, like you have to be a people person. You have to be caring. You have to be willing to talk to people, because this is a customer service job. Is what it is.
And there's 400 and plus agents, but at the end of the day, be you.
Yeah.
Be you.
There's only one you.
You know, same thing when we record videos, right? I've told you this before. It doesn't matter if I shoot that house and then Ivoryce goes and shoots that house. You know, just be you. At the end of the day, you know,
We've done it.
Yeah,
and,
people are gonna work with you because they like you, and you know,
different clientele too.
different clientele. I think if you're just out there doing right and being yourself and helping out and trying to do the best you can, you know, you're gonna continue doing business for sure.
I have a question for both of you. I've heard, because now that I've been around with a lot of agents, have you guys ever encountered a situation like maybe a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law or a brother or an uncle or an aunt has gone and bought in a home with another agent that wasn't yourself? Or let's just say a family member. And how has that made you feel? Is that one of those like, because I've heard some people are like, dude,
family members or
a family member, it could be an uncle, it could be a brother-in-law,
family
sister-in-law.
members? No, because they know I'm the best. So why would they go somewhere else? No, I haven't actually. Not with immediate like brothers or you know family members. Like,
right.
Nothing like that. No,
I've heard.
Because I don't have a lot either way. Here, barely have any.
I heard some stories and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, so you're related to that person and they went with someone. Like, I'm like, what? I'm like,
but then that's like, why? You know what I mean? Because I haven't had it happen to me. And I should like knock on wood, you know? I did have and they're not directly related to me. It's like my sister's boyfriend's sibling or something. Like I had started talking to them, and then later, like maybe like 6 months later or about a year is when I heard like, oh yeah, they bought something. And I was like, and I did kind of feel, I was like, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, those are the times, like I said, you have to have thick skin. You cannot take it personal or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, that's fine. But on the flip side, I have had people talk to me that I know that have family members in the industry, and they're like, no, we don't want to go with them because blah, 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 or whatever.
Right.
You know, so it just goes back to like what we were just talking about. Like, people need to see that you care about them, not the transaction. And you have to, our job is to be readily available for anybody's questions, calls, comments, concerns, whatever it is, because it's a huge purchase. Like, this is not just like, oh, voy a ir a comprar una cosita. No, this is like your livelihood, right? Yeah. So it's super important to be able to be available for their questions. Because, I feel like most of us, when we bought our first house, like we didn't freaking know like what goes into it. You know, like if you've never been around the industry, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have all kinds of questions. And if the person that you're working with makes you feel like you're bothering them, like they're not going to want to work with you.
Yeah, 24/7 on the phone. I always tell people, call me whenever. It doesn't matter. And it is. I mean, and sometimes, maybe, you got to think about that when you go into the industry, right? Your phone's going to ring. You want your phone to ring, right?
Yeah.
And when you have your phone ringing, don't complain about it.
You
I think about it. Yeah, this is what I wanted.
Better have it ringing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like cuando I think of like, if you're a religious person and you're the type of person, or maybe you're not religious, but you pray or you ask the universe for success or money or whatever. When that phone is ringing, that is what it is.
Yep.
Like, it's literally knocking at your door, and you have to be willing to open it every single time, because that is what's going to get you to that success.
Yeah. If you're on vacation, you're camping. Don't matter.
You're Hawaii.
In Hawaii, it don't matter. If you got to buy the internet signal in a cruise, it don't matter.
Right? No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, definitely. This industry is and I've learned really quick, it's very brutal. Yeah. Like in anything, like I'm like, dang.
Back to thick skin at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, even my business kind of ties into what you guys are doing, but like, I mean, I don't get affected if your client chews you out over the phone, right? I don't get to see that, but I get to see that, and I'm like, damn. Like, if I got someone chewing me, I'm like, all right, go work with someone else, but you can't do that because it's more like, you know, you have to be more open to working with everybody because it's so much competition.
Yeah, and I think our jobs at the end kind of like, because you were in customer service, right? It helped out. The same thing with management, you know. I mean, if there was issues or whatever, it was our turn to de-escalate a situation, make the person feel like they're right, figure out the solution, and move forward.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it last episode with Elias that, like, I believe I'm the best, but what else are you doing in order to become the best? You can't just say it, believe it, and then not do anything.
Yeah.
So definitely it ties into everything that you guys are doing as well.
Oh, 100%.
But what's next for you? Like, what's your next 5-year goal?
Let me see. I have it right here.
He has the whole.
You have it written down?
Yeah, on my phone every time I see it. I mean, I don't have my 5-year goal. I just have my goals for this year. But I think eventually, you know, getting my broker license, I think keep on selling, keep on growing, you know, eventually develop some land, but everything real estate.
Right.
I don't plan on moving. This is it for me.
We plan on having Neldon on, and just because his story is crazy too, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of ties into, I don't even want to mention it, but your brothers are building houses too.
Yeah, my brothers are building, helping them build. If I can build some with them,
Right.
You know, everything real estate.
Right.
From here on, you know, I wanna keep doing it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Like I don't see myself.
So real estate is going to
stopping.
be, you don't think you'll.
That's part of my life,
Right.
my DNA now, if anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like not just buying and selling, if anything, developing, you know, investing, growing, you know, town's growing, let's grow with it. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely being around everybody, you're like, you know what, that would be. I like to think of like I need to learn from everybody else's mistakes, even though you don't realize that when you're younger. Like you said, when you're 19, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told my wife, I'm like, man, it's a crazy industry out there. But I mean, if you will just thug it out, like you can. It's all a long-term game.
Yeah.
I feel like,
yeah.
I'm sure if you would have done the 11 years, you know, you were like, I should have. But the good thing is you did do a change.
Yeah.
You know, because if you would have gave him another 6 years, and then you're like, you know. So I like to see that. Like everything is long-term. Maybe right now I'm in the video business, but who knows in 10, 15 years, like I'm like.
You're an agent.
Maybe. You can never say no, right? That's the thing. You can never say no, but.
I say if there's opportunities, jump on them.
But like I see it like as like for you, you could say like, well, in the next 10 years, you grow your company and then you have a team, you know, and then later on, maybe you get a like a building or even just a space or whatever, like thinking bigger and bigger and bigger and like what to do to add more and more. Like for me, I think I'm on the same boat as Noel. It's just like what else can I add to my portfolio and how else can I grow what I'm doing?
I like both of your guys' stories because like I know you dip your feet into like rentals as well. Your brothers are in the industry like building houses, so you help them and they help you. And then your dad, completely different, you know. He's like he buys, remodels, and then keeps or rents. And so like both of you have like two different avenues that you guys can go down.
Yeah, I think it was almost at the beginning too. Like I wanted to make sure I knew everything because I wanted to get into this industry. I didn't have anybody to help me or guide me or
Very
get an
gatekeep
idea.
down.
Yeah, and I was like, I want it. I really want it. So it was tough. I just knew that I wanted it. I didn't have anybody to rely on or ask questions until I, even in brokerages when I started, I was like, which brokerage? At the end of the day, I was like, you know what? HomeSmart, talk to Elias on it. This is what I want. He's like, feel free to give me calls. And then, you know what? Let's just go. I'm picking. I started with HomeSmart.
The soft voice caught you, huh?
Yeah, the soft voice caught me.
He's like, you got to be careful with those.
But he was able to answer my questions, and as I released, because she was already HomeSmart, right? But it was a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube, and calling at the beginning.
Right.
Did I want to join the team? Heck yeah, I wanted to join the team, make it easy, a little easier at least. But I did not have the opportunity to do that just at that time. So I had to pull through and ask questions, make phone calls, look at books, read.
Right.
Look at YouTube videos, see what they're doing. But I wanted to know everything, right? So if someone was going to talk about rentals, at least I had my experience with rentals, right? Short-term, mid-term, long-term rentals, or buying land investments. So I wanted to know it all and be experienced, and also that someone came in, I could talk to it.
Right.
But yeah, eventually it worked. I would always call her phone.
We've talked about,
Also.
I don't know how much we can talk about, but we've talked about how and I know people that are in the industry understand how structures of different brokerages work and stuff like that. You went a more, I would say also non-traditional route because you got an employment and then got in a team. But most people jump into teams, and we've talked about it. We're like, that's cool to get experience and to learn because you have to give up. You have to pay to play basically on that.
Yeah.
But there are also avenues like you went, you know what, you need to thug it out. If you got to learn yourself. That's where I struggled for a while when the whole gatekeeping is because I had to struggle and learn on YouTube, and then I got taught after the fact, oh, you can do this way easier. And you're like, bro, I've been doing this simple task so harder because that's the way I learned it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I was and then I had to just you know what? I can make other people's life easier just by asking. They can ask me, and then they can avoid what I did and learn all on YouTube and stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes, especially the environment here, I think a lot of people are not like that. They're like, oh yeah, here you do this and just do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. Even with some agents here,
I think it depends on
where you're at.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at. I do feel like in our brokerage we have a really good culture, and we're all about helping each other. Even though we're all kind of in competition with each other, I've never felt that I'm competing with Noel. If anything, we work together a lot, and people are like, "Oh, you and your team," and I'm like, "Oh, well, we're not a team, but." But we are a team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because we do want to help each other out. We want to see everybody succeed. There's more than enough for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. There's more than enough business out there for everyone. You just got to get out there.
And the opposite, you'll learn something from your peers.
Yeah, everybody does it different, and you can learn from everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And just because you're learning how someone's doing it doesn't mean that you're going to do it exactly the same, because like we said earlier, you're your own person, so you're going to throw your own twist into it, and I think I've seen this in the past. It's it doesn't matter if someone's copying you, they might not get the same result because maybe they're just doing it just to copy you, thinking that they're going to get that same result, but they're not you. They're not. They're trying to do the same thing as you, but they can't.
That's very common in the video industry. You could have the same cameras as me.
Yeah.
And we could film the same person, and the videos will never be alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because you got your own form.
Your own style.
Your own style. Yeah, I like this. I like how this looks. And someone else on your video side could be like, I don't like this job. He sucks.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he has his own way, and you're going to say the same thing about him, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You do your own. You do you. Well, they said, you
Yeah.
do you, boo.
Yeah, I don't even remember when we mentioned it, but yeah, you need to just evolve and adapt and throw your own twist to everything
100%.
all the time.
Same thing with these changes, right? Everybody was like, crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd go and listen, but I'm like, dude, all we got to do is change, adapt.
The outside perspective on the
And move
changes that
forward.
everybody was like, I don't think they were freaking out, but they were like, oh fuck. I think it's like people that are dumb as fuck. Like that make the people that understand it life's harder, right?
Yes.
Or am I wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in our like at least for management and culture in the retail space, it was always about change, and so they would present us the change, and then we'd have to go present everybody
And you gotta
what
go
was
Yeah.
coming
on the fly.
and if you're not changing, so I mean, you're gonna be pushed
Yeah.
out. If we got to change, we got to do better, and if you don't change, you're blockbuster.
That's where I
Yeah.
noticed. I'm like, I feel like, because I hear like
You're
these
a red
stories.
box.
I hear these stories. You're like, how the fuck did this person fuck this up? And I'm like, I feel like those are the agents that just like are maybe complacent, that are not putting the extra mile to learn something. Like I remember when I used to do taxes, we had to learn the new tax code every single year right before tax season because they released it January 1st. It's not like they came out in November of the year
Yeah.
before. Like you got to go get ready because then tax season started in February. So you're like, you got to learn fast and you got to learn it good. And I feel like that's the people like, if I didn't learn it and I just learned it during the season, how many times would I've fucked up because I didn't know it? And I feel like
Yeah.
that's what's going on. And I think that's what sets good agents apart. Because
Keep learning.
Definitely.
Not everybody knows everything.
Yeah.
I mean, all different transactions are different, and you're learning as you go.
I like you mentioned a lot of times like, oh, your wife's always like reading new material.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, I would feel more comfortable with someone
Staying
that's-
up to date.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, they've been in this shit for so long, but they just
Yeah.
don't understand it, you know? Like,
I always tell them you'll catch her reading instead of like
Being
look
online
on
and
TikTok
stuff.
or
Playing
Instagram,
Fortnite.
playing Fortnite. John. She'll be reading, keeping up to date.
see,
you
that's
know.
that like I said, that's what differentiates someone that's passionate about their job and someone that's just like there for a paycheck. 100%.
Yeah.
But I think that's all the time we got for today. We do appreciate
that was pretty fast.
We do
Yeah.
appreciate you being on the podcast and taking time to be with us. Where can people find you?
I don't even know my handle. Noel _Leon _. That's my Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Well,
But
we
you
can,
can find me on Facebook.
Yeah. Just put his name. He'll pop
Yeah,
up.
just-
yeah,
my
hopefully we
name.
can bring him in the future. And I know Elias has mentioned before, like maybe we can have a sub show with you guys on
Yeah.
our network. So hopefully we can get that going. And I know the concept will be a little bit more in depth into the real estate.
Yeah.
So like I said, appreciate you being on.
Yeah, comment below how I did on my first podcast.
Right.
If I suck,
Martha's on there.
If
Get him
I-
off.
Yeah, Martha's gonna roast me either way. Martha's gonna roast me. She'll probably be the only one that puts thumbs down.
Right. It's like, oh, dang, we got a thumbs down. Oh, that was,
yeah, the
Noel's
Martha.
wife,
Yeah.
right? No, but we appreciate you. Again, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and go listen to us on Spotify Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio. And I forgot the other three. There's like these three weird ones that they automatically.
But they'll be linked down below.
Leave it down below. Thanks so much for
whiteboard.
watching.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Give it to me.